Hello viewers, and welcome to part 27 of the Clues Cat Does Final Fantasy XIV story playthrough, as per requested by Twitch viewers. More bad monotone dialogue incoming. Now where we left off, we just laid this final smackdown on Nidhogg. We're going to try and save Estinian and finish up Heavensward and get into the post stuff.
Estinian!
Is this to be mine end? Nay, I will not allow it. I am of the first brood. I am vengeance incarnate. I am Nidhogg! Thou shalt die by my hand!
This is not your hand, worm!
Thou wilt obey!
I would ask one last favor of you, Warrior of Light. Finish me, now, while I have the beast subdued! You waste your time! Kill me! It is the only way! Ending Nidhogg will be my final duty! No! You can't die like this! I won't let you!
Done by mortal will. Whither now?
The eyes! Cast them into the abyss!
Yet this bond of hope, my treachery was broke, scattering her words to the wind.
He lives. Ah, Estinian, my ill-fated friend. Lucia, summon the healers. I want them ready to receive him.
At once, Lord Commander.
Allow me to do this much, at least.
The Horde have sensed the fall of their master and scattered to the winds.
You have my gratitude, Hresvelga. Your deeds this day have saved a great many lives.
Then our alliance has served its purpose. Thou didst wield the power I granted thee well. 'Twas thine own skill and not mine eye which earned thee victory. I wish thy companion a swift recovery. Fare you well, children of man. But I got your eye.
The battle is won. We can do no more for Estinian now than bear him home and wish him well, even as Hraesvelga did. The rest we must trust to the hands of the healers and the grace of the gods.
Through the haze of pain, I swear I sense, but no. The past is done and we must look to the future. At long last, Nidhogg is gone, his foul spirit cast out once and for all. I only pray that Estinian survives the ordeal. Heroes of the hour, Alphino seems distracted. Your battle with Nidhogg's shade will beget many an epic ballad, Amber, and rightly so. It was, without a doubt, one of your more epical victories, though I must admit that I took greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. And not only for your own sake. Had you not been there to aid me, those infernal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yet even with Nidhogg gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia and beg news of his condition. Amber, Master Alphino, my honored friends, as if winning Hraesvelgar to our cause was not enough, you took it upon yourselves to rid us of his brood brother. I know not how to thank you. Getting me a date with Emmerich. My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. The true saviors of the day were Amber and Estinian. One triumphed over Nidhogg's shade through strength of arms, and the other through strength of will. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? The Azure Dragoon was conveyed to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of our hospitalier captain. I am told he has yet to regain consciousness. But as you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. We must be patient and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Ceramic is never long from Estinian's bedside and will send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmont and his sons are most eager to celebrate your return. Very well, First Commander. Come, Amber, 'twould seem that we are awaited at Fort Tom's Manor. Yes, let me in.
The heroes of the hour return.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
I gave every ounce of my strength, but mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you. And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
My lord's command was certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
I am most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
Our Master Alphino has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
Can I just poke him in the ribs till he wakes up? Amber, my friend, what can I do for the savior of Ishgard? You seek Master Alphino? Ah, he came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. When he begged to sit at Estinian's side, I could not well refuse him. Though he would sooner faint than admit it, the boy must be exhausted from Hraelsfargar's trial and all that followed. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. Litany of Peace. Amric appears lost in nostalgia. My own friendship with Estinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. I learned his name soon enough, but Estinian barely registered my existence. I was less a fellow recruit and more a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained had fate not seen fit to intervene. While out on patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, and we were the only two to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, as such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind. Revenge for the death of his parents, and revenge for his younger brother. I would venture that in Alphino he sees something of his lost sibling. And in the ungentle chidings of Estinian, Alphino has found the elder brother he never had. Truth be told, Estinian's tactless observations has saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alphino's affections for him. He is a friend for whom I would gladly... Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. Is he? Tell him I am on my way. Quickly, Amber, we must go to him. I'm okay with lots of long cutscenes as long as they're voiced.
Estinian!
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief. We feared you might never wake up.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphino thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead.
Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphino. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvelgr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine, but full glad am I that you did. 'Tis an honor to share the mantle of Azure Dragoon with one such as you.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart. Can you forgive me?
There is naught to forgive, Emmerich. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind.
Boy has a neck on him.
Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest. Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
He has tired himself with too many words. I doubt not that he will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
Following the battle with Nidhogg on the Steps of Faith, Sir Emeric called an assembly that he might make his final proclamation as acting head of state. "'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic. The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons. Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid, and the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident. His duty done, Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the Archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords. Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept. And so it was that the winds of gentle revolution came to stir. Prominent among the many honoured guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace. The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback, and by their cheers did they hail him an azure dragoon for a new age. Thus were the notes of the dragon song rewritten, the din of war giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
From the memoirs of Count Edmond de Fortop, Heavensward. I was gazing out at the sea of clouds in an all too rare moment of idleness when I chanced to behold a certain hero wending her way towards the city on Dragonback. Welcome home, Amber. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought respite from the pressures of office. No sooner do I surrender my role as temporary head of state than I am burdened with a position of more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure the way you must feel when your improbable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more impossible challenges. The myth which guided our society for generations lies in tatters. Am I then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down? And what strange jest is this that places me at its pinnacle, an archbishop's bastard at the head of the House of Lords. But these questions are for me to answer. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience, and it was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuild the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one carefully placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the fundament of our legacy. I hear word from Capital Whitecape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. His wilfulness survives undiminished. Should you ever happen upon our unmannerly friend on your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe until he deigns to come home. Okay. Thank you, Amber, and please convey my warmest regards to Master Alphino. I shall go do that right now, actually. Let me in, let me in. You spoke with Sir Emmerich? I do not envy him his new position. Ishgard has chosen a new road, but one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yet though her people may stumble from time to time, I know none better than Sir Emmerich to lead the march of progress. As for us, there remains the small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of inscrutable Asian machinations, and a seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. In the wake of Ishgard's governmental reform, new airship routes have been sanctioned. You may now travel to a selection of distant locales from the landing in Ishgard. Ooh. Thank you, Blenhairs. Nay, you need not remain there. We shall rendezvous at the usual place. All is proceeding as expected, then? Aye, there's naught to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse. This way. Him again. It is of no moment. They will play their part and we will play ours. And thus did grey mists give way to azure skies, man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song, but beneath shrouded bows, beyond the scope of light, shadow stirs. Floor the Horde! Promises kept. A new day dawns in Ishgard, and the House Fortom Knight has tidings for you. Mr. Samber, you are come at a most excellent time. An invitation from a truly preeminent personage was delivered to the manor but a short while ago. Would that you had been present to receive it, but in any event. Sir Amric de Borel, Lord Speaker of the House of Lords, Lord Commander of the Temple Knights, and Viscount of House Borel, cordially invites Mr. Samber to dine with him at his estate. You seem surprised. The messenger assured me that his lord had broached the subject with you at an earlier date, when the arrangements for the peace conference were still being finalized. Of course, the intervening moons afforded little opportunity for leisure, but with the happy advent of peace, 'tis plain the Lord Commander sees no further cause to delay. What say you? I'd be glad to accept. Can I wear him? Indeed, who would not? You will forgive me if I seem envious. I shall send word of your acceptance to Borel Manor at once. When you are ready, pray report to the Astrologicum. They will have someone escort you the rest of the way. Who am I going? Oh, hello over there. Greetings and well met, Mr. Samber. I have the honor and the privilege to serve as head steward of House Borel, though, admittedly, our staff is somewhat smaller than those of other noble families, being countable on one hand. Ahem, my lord will be overjoyed to hear that you have accepted his invitation, as you will soon see we have spared no expense. I dare say a woman in action such as yourself enjoys nary a moment's respite. Aye, the battlefield beckons even now, I am sure, but for this day we bid you lay down your burdens and raise a glass to peace and prosperity.
To think the Moogles would prove such harsh taskmasters. Forgive me. I did not know you had suffered so in your quest for the horn. I must say, your spirited accounts always come as a welcome change from the arid reports which fill my days.
Though I have lived in these lands my entire life, to hear you speak of them, there is much and more I have yet to see. Truly, yours was a marvelous journey.
Why not join me on the next?
Well, truth be told, when I think back on the sweeping vistas of the churning mists, I do feel some slight pangs of wanderlust. Alas, much as I would like to accept your invitation, I fear my present duties with the House of Lords demand my undivided attention. Someday, perhaps. By your deeds, you have helped us to lay the foundation for lasting reform. The formation of the Republic is but the beginning, for it is not only our system of governance which must needs change. We, the people, must learn to let go of our hatreds and rise above our bloody past. I only pray that I live long enough to see us achieve some measure of success, that I might know the lost did not die in vain. I can still see you there on the steps of faith, striding fearlessly towards the worm. If you could do that, who are we to balk at the challenges ahead? The question of how best to strengthen ties with the other great nations of Eorzea has been debated at length in the Lords and Commons of late. As you may imagine, maintaining stability during this period of historic upheaval is our paramount concern. Nevertheless, we are greatly indebted to the Alliance for their support during the Grand Melee, and it would be remiss of us not to repay their faith in kind. Of course, we owe you the greatest debt of all, and it is my hope that in extending our support to you and the Scions, we might also express our gratitude to our neighbors, nay, our fellow Eorzeans, whom we pray you will continue to protect. The Lords and Commons agree on very little, but not a soul in either house begrudges your order this offer of patronage. For all you have done and will do, we thank you. May I ask a personal question? Now that the dust has settled, what will you do? Not as a scion, I mean, but what do you want for yourself?
Lord Commander, pray forgive the interruption.
News from House Fulton?
An urgent message for the Warrior of Light. I was instructed to deliver it without delay. Master Thancred returned to the manor a short time ago bearing an injured maiden. Master Leveilleur and Mistress Tataru are tending to her wounds, but they like not her chances. Respectfully, my lord, they have requested the Warrior of Light's immediate presence.
You must go to them, my friend, and I shall go with you.
For every ending marks a new beginning. From tragedy and sacrifice, we rise to greet a new dawn, as did she. Only to be drawn unto another battlefield, another cause, as if by fate.
Let me in.
Yes.
Is that...
Alize, Alphino's twin sister. She ran afoul of the Warriors of Darkness. I had been tracking them since the ceremony at Falcon's Nest. Little did I know I was not the only one. Evidently, she had learned of their activities and attempted to shadow them on her own. Poorly. I rescued her in the Twelves Wood, and together we fled north. But though I made every effort to cover our tracks, they caught up with us on the Ishgardian border. And in the ensuing struggle, Alize took an arrow to the shoulder. 'Twas only after we had made good our escape that I realized it was poisoned.
Thank you for coming so quickly. And you, Sir Emmerich.
Think nothing of it. How is she?
We have done all we can for now. Although the immediate danger has passed, the poison yet lingers in her blood. We came to Eorzea together, hoping to bring salvation to the realm our grandfather gave his life to protect. But when confronted with the bitter realities of its politics and its petty powermongers, she was driven to anger and to doubt. She refused to become embroiled in what she termed Eorzea's squabbles and distance herself from the Scions. Though she remained hopeful of a brighter future, she would walk her own path. Would that it had not been so perilous. For all our differences, she's as dedicated as any Scion to the salvation of Eorzea. But more than that, she is my sister. To be reunited with her, only to lose her forever. Gods, even to speak the words.
Take heart, Master Alphino. She will be attended by our most skilled Chirurgeons. Bear Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary at once. Apprise Captain Whitecape of the situation, and inform him that she is to be treated as my personal charge.
Wait, don't go. Please, come closer. The Warriors of Darkness are in league with the Ascients. Slaughtering the Primals is but the first step in their plan. They make for Zelvatol to bring about Garuda's summoning and to kill her. You must stop them.
I shall inform the others at once.
Master Thancred, I would ask that you accompany Mistress Leveilleur to the infirmary. Your knowledge of her injuries may well prove useful in determining her treatment.
Of course.
Well, snap. Surely they won't let her. Yes, I know. We must trust in Captain Whitecape and his Chirurgeons. Did they not bring Estinian back from the very brink of death? I am uncomfortably reminded of how he mocked me for praying at his bedside for days on end. What say you, my friend? Shall we turn our attention to a matter whose conclusion we have yet the power to influence? Money. Shadow of the First. As Alphino and many others know all too well, there is no rest for the righteous. Kabuto and chat, hey Thedos. So the Warriors of Darkness and the Ascians are conspiring to bring about Garuda's summoning, that they might put her to the sword. Then when we first encountered them in Lothasgnoth, when they were confronting Ravana, gods, has this been their aim all along? What do you intend to do, Master Alphino? There is much and more I do not understand, but I know this, a primal summoning cannot be ignored. Alice risked her life to uncover this plot, and we squander her gift at our peril. Amber, will you accompany me to Zelphatol and help me stop the Ixal's ritual? Given that Ishgard shares a border with the Ixali homeland, we have a vested interest in the outcome of this ritual. We have been willing to suffer the Beastmen's intrusions into Kurthus lands to a point, but the summoning of a primal is an escalation we cannot abide. You shall have our fastest airship, Master Alphino. The mountains of Zelphatol are not easily traversed, and this endeavor demands all haste. The gesture is most appreciated, Sir Emmerich, but I fear an aerial approach is destined to fail. This is their homeland, after all. The Ixali Digribs are not to be underestimated. No, experience tells me the only conceivable approach is by land. I believe it would be wiser to cross into Zelphatol by way of the mountain pass east of Camp Dragonhead. In that case, I shall send instructions for a contingent of the camp's knights to be placed at your disposal. They will secure your safe passage through the mountains and escort you thence to Zelphatol. Though my men are unqualified to confront a primal, they are more than capable of contending with the Ixal. We should be glad of their assistance, Lord Edmont. In the event Mistress Alice regains consciousness, we will share with you any additional information she may provide. May the Fury watch over and keep you safe. Then let us be off. We can procure any additional supplies we require in Camp Dragonhead. Have you everything we require then? Excellent. The entrance to the pass is north of Nadalin and due east of Camp Dragonhead. Though it is normally guarded by a score of Ixali warriors, I have been informed that House Forton Knights have already dispatched them. The enemy's gate lies open. We need but walk through. Mr. Samber, Master Alphino, as you can see, the gate is ours. Be advised that our scouts are reporting increased activity around the first mountain. Simply put, they are up to something and don't want anyone interfering. We stand ready to escort you to Zelphatol and aid you as you see fit. The enemy will be thick on the ground. Upon arriving, let us advance, and with care as we search for the site of the summoning ritual. If the gods are good, and we should only have to contend with Ixal, but if they are not, we may be forced to do battle with the Warriors of Darkness. The trash paths leading up to the first boss are pretty straightforward. Just pull them all AoE and it'll open the way to the next area. Another easy boss. He has a few party-wide AoEs. He'll summon adds that must be killed, as well as turrets that will tether to him that must be killed or you cannot do damage. He does this Wind Blast. Pretty easy to avoid because he just casts it in a long line and it does have a cast bar. When you get enough of his HP down, he'll do Lift. He'll summon some adds and a turret. Kill them all. When the turret goes down, look to see where he is. You can see that because there's this little circle thing here, because shortly after the turret goes down, it throws everyone up in the air and someone must hit the boss to bring him back down, and then you can kill him off. That's pretty much all you have to do, all you have to worry about with this guy. Oh, and there's some more adds. Same thing for the trash leading up to the second boss as the first. Just pull until you can't, kill everything to open the way, rinse and repeat. Be on the lookout for the bone key that this guy drops, because that's the only way you can move on. Some of the paths will drop bone keys for elevators or air stones for flying lifts. So this boss is pretty easy. He does on low several times, which is a frontal cleave. Just move out of that. After a little bit, he will do a knockback. He will probably do this a couple of times during the fight. Just make sure that you have a barrier against your back or you're going to get knocked into the spikes, take damage, and get a little bit of a debuff out. Don't make healer mad. Sometimes he'll target a couple of party members. They just have to run away because they're going to be getting a AoE around them. Don't worry, the AoE does not persist. But before his next knockback, he will do 2 persisting AoEs at 2 of the barriers, so you have to watch out that you don't get knocked back into those. Swift Feather, it will cause his on low to be instant cast, so as soon as you see him casting Swift Feather, move away from his front after that cast. More easy trash paths, you just have to watch out because the balloons do bring you more trash. So when you see the balloon come dock, go up to it because there's about to be more. These are also the ones that drop the air stones that you're going to need to pick up in order to move on to the next path. Pretty easy. So this guy will start out with a party-wide AoE. He also does a lesser version of this where it's a path AoE. He'll also put green circles on you, which is going to cause an AoE around you. Just spread for that. He's also going to do a stack marker that you're going to have to stack for. Shortly after that, he will summon Garuda. Now, during the Garuda phase, he's going to cause the outer ring to be unsafe to stand in, so you're going to be forced to the middle. Garuda will do an AoE of her own that you have to avoid, and they'll also do other mechanics such as the circle. And that's probably the trickiest part of this fight. Pretty easy once you get the hang of it.
So they were unable to see the ritual to its completion. Then Garuda is no longer a threat, and whatever the Ascians and the Warriors of Darkness were planning has come to naught. But we should not tarry. The Knights have secured our path to safety.
Well, well. What do we have here? You'd better not have killed the Primal without us.
You!
Wait, I know you. Still walking, I see. I could have sworn my aim was true.
Just what is your game? Leading us the long way so these fools could step in and claim our prize?
No. Let's not make hasty accusations. By the look of things, the ritual was proceeding as planned. We arrived at the appointed hour. 'Twas they who erred.
It is hopeless. We cannot face them all.
Do mine ears deceive? A boy! So that's the way of it. Twins! You had me worried for a moment there. Know that I will happily make it quicker for you, if you just stand still.
Enough, Jarumu. We wouldn't want to upset the man in white with any unnecessary bloodshed now, would we? You've been awfully busy since we were kind enough to spare your lives.
While you were idly consorting with the Ascians, you mean? 7 hells! What could you possibly hope to achieve?
Should I explain it to you? Very well. Consider it a reward of sorts for beating us here. You know the tale of Hydaelyn and Zodiac, I take it? Of the Great Sundering and the reflections it created?
Across 10 and 3 they were divided. Reflections of the source, each possessed of shards of light and dark.
Just so. One of those reflections, the one nearest to the source, is our home. And we were the heroes blessed with her light. But not all worlds hold light and dark in equal measure. In ours, the power of light was greater by far. So the Ascians, who once threatened our home, were no match. And they fell before us, one after another, till none were left. Victory, we thought. And then came the light. A flood of pure, blinding radiance, annihilating shadow and color and life itself. Ere long, it will consume our world, leaving naught in its wake but blank perfection.
That cannot be. Do you honestly expect us to believe such a story?
Believe what you like. But it has happened before, on a world far removed from ours. The 13th, which was swallowed by the dark and transformed into what you call the Void. Unchallenged light would condemn us to a similar fate. And so we joined hands with our former enemies, and with their aid came here, to the source. For there is but one way to restore the balance and save our home. The Ardor. Calamitous destruction with the power to break down the barriers between planes and see our worlds rejoined.
You would doom our world to save your own? What would even become of us? Of you?
Enough. I tire of talking. You know our cause. You know what is at stake. We are prepared to do whatever it takes. Are you?
If there is aught you would say, say it. Otherwise, begone. You have no friends here.
All things considered, we should be grateful to have survived that encounter. Do you think it could be true that to save their world they must bring ruin to ours? No. No, it matters not. Such wanton destruction is beyond justification. Whatever their reasons, they must be stopped. The sacrifice, the loss, it ends here. Two sides of a coin. Alphino would like nothing more than to get out of the snow. Forgive me, this is neither the time nor the place for idle introspection. The knights can apprise Lord Edmund of our success, and we the Lord Commander. More importantly, I would like to see if my sister's condition has improved. You may take a moment for yourself if you wish. I will be at the congregation. It brings me joy to see you safely return to us, Amber. What news from Zelphatol? Yeah, we got a new problem. Then we were not too late. On behalf of Ishgard, I offer you my deepest thanks. As for we who remain behind, Mistress Y'shtola has been tending to Mistress Alizé in your absence, and I am pleased to report that she has regained consciousness. I imagine you have many questions, especially given your recent encounter with the Warriors of Darkness. I know I do. Come, let me show you to her room. Do not worry, her condition is much improved. She is a resilient one, much like her brother.
Alizé, how are you feeling?
Worse now that you're here.
Well enough, brother. Thanks to the kindness of our hosts. They told me you had departed for Zelphatol while I was still abed. I slept much better knowing that. Thank you.
I take it your mission was a success.
As if we needed any further confirmation that they are in league with the Ascians. But to save another world? I think not.
I too thought his story fanciful at first. But it is possible there may be a kernel of truth in all of this. At the very least, none of his claims contradict the word's account.
You were following these people, Alizé. Why?
During my travels, I had oft enjoyed tales of the Scions and their exploits. But after a time, I began to hear whispers of a gifted and theretofore unknown band of adventurers. Adventurers who had supposedly sworn to travel the realm slaying primals in the Scion's stead.
The Warriors of Darkness. And in the course of investigating these rumors, you stumbled upon the Ascians' involvement.
Yes, exactly.
Forgive me, but if these Warriors of Darkness mean to bring about another calamity, to what end do they hunt primals?
To prompt an escalation. To deepen the beast tribe's feelings of helplessness and despair, and thereby drive them to summon ever more powerful gods. And lest we forget, these events do not occur in isolation. With their patron deities being slain left and right, the news of man's victory over Nidhogg must surely have sown panic in the minds of the beastmen. 'Tis no wonder they wish to defend themselves.
Power answered with greater power. Death with more death. A vicious cycle fueled by fear and hatred. I know it's like all too well.
Indeed. The Ascians sow discord and desperation, and the Warriors of Darkness reap the harvest. And so it continues. Yet that is not the extent of their ambitions. The Ascian himself observed that once the powerless realize that the old gods have failed them, they will have little recourse but to look to a new one.
We cannot let that happen.
It should come as no surprise, but Alizé and I have uncovered evidence that the Ascians have been manipulating certain parties to ensure that a constant stream of crystals flows into the hands of the beast tribes. If we sever these supply lines, we should at least be able to slow the escalation.
Agreed. Kral and I shall journey to Zelphatol and learn what we can of the Ixal's source.
Then I, for my part, pledge to lead a similar investigation into the origin of the Nath supply.
Sir Emmerich?
As a member of the Eorzean Alliance, Ishgard is honor bound to play an active role in maintaining the security of the realm. You might also say that I have some personal motivation, given the Ascians' dealings with my father. However, I make no secret of the fact that my knowledge of primal beings is scant at best. As such, I should be most grateful if one of your order were to assist me.
Allow me, Sir Emmerich. I have dealt with the Nath before.
Let us consult with Orianja then. Given his dedication to the study of primal beings, I should be surprised if he could not tell us something of value.
Allow me to accompany you, brother. And before you think to refuse, know that I am not the girl I once was. I shall not be a burden. You have my word.
But Alize, you... You are more than welcome. After all, it was you who set us upon this path.
Wait a minute! I'm afraid I can't allow you to leave just yet. Not until you try on the new outfit I prepared for you.
Her and her outfits. It has been many moons since last we worked together, though I believe the same cannot be said of the two of you. I confess I was aware of your subterranean expedition, of your search for the truth of Calamity. I considered involving myself with her venture for a time, but as you know all too well, circumstances conspired to keep us apart. I can only assume she carried on in our absence. My apologies for keeping you waiting. Right then, shall we be off? Tatru never ceases to impress, though for a moment I feared she might furnish you with an identical outfit. Praise the 12 she did not. Mother and father were rather too fond of making us wear matching clothes. Do you remember that time at the studium when that girl of yours crept up behind me in the hall and whispered, "Sister, please, she was not my... Can we not have this conversation in front of the Warrior of Light?" So be it. Another time, perhaps. I should thank you again for your assistance with my expeditions, Amber. Though we left matters somewhat unfinished, I am nevertheless prepared to focus on the task at hand and aid you to the fullest extent of my ability. As you help me to brave the coil, so too will I help you to defeat the Warriors of Darkness. Pleasure to have you with us. New garments aside, I must say that you seem different, more resolute than when we last met. You have the look of a woman who is ready to fight for the future of Eorzea. To the extent of my abilities, perhaps, but I have no delusions of grandeur, nor will I pretend to have found myself or any such thing. I'm here today because I would regret it if I weren't. That is all. Fair enough. Let us depart for the Waking Sands then and see if Orianja can be of assistance. Pray return. Orianja, apologies for calling upon you unannounced. Why, Master Alphino, would that the scholar had seen fit to grant me knowledge of thy coming. What bringeth thee and thine here this day? The Warriors of Darkness have returned. Pray, allow us to explain. I too have heard tales in recent days of primal beings rising up only to be cast down by forces unknown. Alas, as thou didst observe, This serveth but to spur the beast tribes to pursue their goals with redoubled fervor. We have two objectives at this time, to identify and remove the source of the beast tribe's crystals, and to take direct action to prevent any further summoning rituals from reaching completion. The second is easier said than done, of course. While we were fortunate enough to learn of the XIV's plans before they came to fruition, I should be surprised if the Warriors of Darkness and the Ascians did not have similar designs elsewhere of which we have no knowledge. Thou wert wise to come hither, for this very day did I receive tidings most troubling from across the Strait of Melthor. Ogmoro stirreth, and there are whispers that the Lord of Craigs neareth his return. Mere rumours, mark thou, but in light of thine own discoveries. Thou canst ill afford to turn a deaf ear to their claims. Aye, we must ascertain the truth of the matter for yourselves. Let us consult with the Maelstrom forces stationed at Camp Overlook, Amber. Okay. Thank you for your counsel, Oriange. Pray inform us should you learn aught else. I shall. If I may, brother. Oriange, is there anything else you would like to say? Alice? If not, then never mind. I only ask because you are normally rather more verbose. Nothing to add? Very well. Ere we depart, I wish to make a request. The Warriors of Darkness spoke of how the Ardor had the power to break down the barriers between planes, that our worlds might be rejoined. I would ask that you research this for us. Being nowhere near as well read as you, I'm sure I wouldn't know where to begin. That said, I have heard tell of a promising tome, the Jarun Oracles. Mayhap you could start there. By thy leave. Camp Overlook, was it? Very well. Seven hells, at this rate I'll have to appeal to Maelstrom Command for reinforcements. Whatever it is, we don't want any. Dude, you have no idea who I am? Well, fancy that. Just when my kobold problems look like coming to a head, the signs of the Seventh Dawn turn up, itching to pitch in. Bloody brilliant timing is what it is. Right then, let's get to it. Unlikely allies. Commander Blodin is eager to put you to work. So our friendly neighbors in Ungomaro have got much more aggressive as of late, just as you said. Matter of fact, our scouts spotted one sniffing around the stores just now, likely looking to make off with an armful of crystals. I'll be damned if I'm about to let that happen. Lend a hand and help us search the camp for the little bugger, would you? Our Maelstrom friends seem notably more agitated than when first we arrived. Do you happen to know why that might be? A kobold in the camp, you say? That would appear to corroborate Oriange's information, yes, but to do so reckless as to infiltrate a Maelstrom camp and draw attention to their efforts is passing strange. Well, there will be time to think on this later. For the present, we must do everything in our power to prevent Titan summoning, and that means finding and questioning this kobold. Stay back. Away. Far back. I'm not a... God, it's no use. Pointless, hopeless, no use. Please, don't hurt me. I only wish to talk. Yes, just talk. Yeah. This was a stupid plan. Stupid. But if I tell no one, then everyone will. Gosh, she found me again. What to do? I come in peace, only to talk. Speak, say, talk. So please, do not hurt me. So this is our wily kobold infiltrator, is it? No wonder the soldiers were on edge. He could very well give one a bruised knee. Huzzah, we've got him. Fine work, Scions. So, little one, thought you could sneak into my camp, did you? Plotting to steal my crystals, were you? No, I came to talk, to ask for help, but when your soldiers saw me, they drew their weapons and shouted, and I... Now, let us all take a deep breath and discuss this like civilized individuals. What is your name, child? Pikmin Gabu of the 620th Order. At least, I will be a Pikmin one day. Well met, Gabu. I am Alphino. This is my sister Alize. Amber, the woman who found you, is our friend, and now that you know our names, we can be friends too. Now, Commander Blood in here thinks you want to take his crystals, Gabu, but you said you came to ask for help? Why to us and not to your own people? What happened, Gabu? Can you tell us? I am... No one is going to hurt you, all right? No, we're here, I promise. The Patriarch, he's... The Patriarch is going to summon the Great Father again and you have to stop him. Beat him, fight him, stop him. Gabu's parents said they didn't want it, along with many others, but the Patriarch wouldn't listen. He was so angry, raging, fuming, angry. He said that they didn't have iron in their hearts, they would serve as coke for the furnace, and then the guards took my parents and the others away, and I haven't seen any of them since. Coke for the furnace. I did not want to believe it, but I have heard tales of foci fashioned from the bones of beastmen, which worshippers use in their rituals, hoping to summon more powerful incarnations of their gods. By the 12, that is sickening. No one listens to Gabu, no matter how much he cries, pleads, begs, cries. They do not listen, only talk about punishing the overdwellers and praising the Great Father. Gabu loves the Great Father, but he loves his parents too, so please help Gabu stop the Patriarch and save his parents. Commander, advise Maelstrom Command that Titan summoning is imminent. Should the worst come to worst, we will require their support. Time being of the essence, we three will attempt to infiltrate the Kobold stronghold, secure their crystals, and free the prisoners. Well, if you're sure, you'll forgive me if I don't seem optimistic. We'll make ready just in case. I have faith that we may yet stop the ritual. We would surely have detected the associated etheric disturbance had Titan manifested already. But I cannot speak for the prisoners, 12 have mercy, that they would even contemplate sacrificing their own flesh and blood, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. Time is of the essence. We must see what else Gabu knows and formulate a plan without further delay. The beast that mourned at the heart of the mountain. Shifting nervously from foot to foot, Gabu struggles to meet your gaze. Our Great Father Titan loves crystals, cherishes, covets, loves them, and if we gather enough, he will return. That's why the Patriarch told everyone to go forth and gather them. So I was thinking, if we take all the crystals away, maybe the Great Father won't come? Very good, Gabu. I was just thinking the same thing. Do you know where these crystals are stored? I know. Oh, several spots, each defended by a different order. Gaboo wanted to steal them, but he was too afraid to go alone. Yes, too afraid to go alone. But together we can take them away and hide them. Come, Gaboo will lead you to the first cache. Quickly. Do you have them all? Good. Lead on, Gaboo. This way. Time is short. If you have the crystals, we should move on to the next cache. Do you hear me, brother? Brother. Aye, it's just that... I am quite certain that crate once bore guardian seals. Someone took great pains to remove all traces, but enough remains to make out the pattern. See for yourself. I struggle to imagine kobolds traveling to Kurthis to obtain crystals, much less bothering to conceal their origins. I suspect these crystals were smuggled into Vilbrand by another party, most likely a pawn of the Asians, as Thancred speculated. I don't understand. Who are the Asians? Do they worship Great Father Titan too? Never you mind about that. As Alese said, we do not have a lot of time. Could you lead us to the next cache, Gaboo? Yes, of course. Gaboo knows the way. The next one is the last and is very large, very big, very huge, very large. Though you cast about for a time, you see no signs of the crystals. Confounded. What about you, Amber? Any luck? Not really. Nothing. But this cannot be. Gaboo saw them. Spotted saw. Think, brother, think. They must have moved them. Yes, the question is where to and why. To the summoning ritual? Within Agamoro, where they summoned Titan once before and mean to do so again. It is the only explanation. What about Mother and Father and the others? We have to help them. And we will, Gaboo. We will. Stay calm. We still have time. They have yet to call for the remaining crates. Yes, if they had, then they would have found the other caches empty and sounded the alarm. Nevertheless, I believe the time for stealth has passed. We must breach the navel and seize the remaining crystals. There is no other way to prevent Titan summoning. But first, give me your crystals that I might deliver them into Commander Blodin's custody. We dare not take them into the bowels of the mountain. The crystals, Amber, if you would be so kind. Thank you. I shall deliver them to Camp Overlook for safekeeping and brief Commander Blodin of the situation. Pray go on ahead. As I recall, there is an aetheryte within the Ungamora mines that should deliver you to the navel. Gaboo doubtless knows the way. Wait for me there. I shall join you anon. Strange. I would have thought you eager to remain in the thick of the action, but if this is what you would prefer, then Godspeed, brother. This way. Ah, I take it this is the aetheryte we seek? Right then. Soon as Alphino arrives, we go. I trust you're feeling suitably heroic, Amber? There's no telling what sort of resistance we're facing there. Quickly, you cods! Briskly, swiftly, quickly, I will not suffer any further delays. Lay down your arms and surrender. We have your crystals. There will be no summoning this day. Overdwellers here? But how did you? Where are my parents, Patriarch? Where are they? Mother? Father? Coke for the furnace? You monster, how could you? We are but the servants of the Lord of Craigs. We are his, that he may drink of our blood and partake of our flesh, that he might draw upon the strength of his children to defend them from the tyranny of the Overdwellers. No, Alice, not yet. I understand, Patriarch, I do. Your fear, your anger, your hate. You would do anything to protect your people, anything to deliver them from despair, whatever it takes to ensure that those who threaten you can never do so again. But in your single-minded pursuit of this objective, you have brought suffering on your own kith and kin. You have sacrificed the lives of the very people you sought to protect. But it need not be this way, Patriarch. Renounce this bloody course, cease your attempts to summon your god, and work with us together to build a lasting peace. Another peace to be abandoned at the Overdwellers' convenience. Oathbreakers, all of you. Liars, betrayers, oathbreakers. You take and you take and you take, and when you have had your fill, you sue for peace. You promise that this time is the last, until you grow hungry again. And when we dare to defend ourselves, you declare that this beast tribe cannot be suffered to live, that our god drains the land of Aether, and brings naught but suffering, death, destruction, suffering upon us all. I will hear no more lies from you and yours, Overdweller. You've ruined your own lands. You will not ruin ours. I said I'd come for you, and I did. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Say something, please. 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 Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up! Seven Hills. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Alphino, leave him to me. We must away. That is rung strong, carbuncle. By the 12, how could I be so foolish? I should have known better than to let Gabu accompany us, given what we were like to find. His anguish and despair have served to birth a primal, just as surely as would the supplications of the faithful. Worse, being born of such tumultuous emotion, this incarnation of Titan seems incapable of naught but violence. If we have one cause for optimism, it is that while many crystals were present, they represented but a fraction of the quantity intended for the summoning ritual, meaning that Titan must be far weaker than planned. Be that as it may, he is yet a primal, and the longer we leave him to bleed the land of Ether, the stronger he will grow. And should Titan be permitted to leave Ongamoro, more lives will be lost. The Maelstrom will rally their troops and the cycle will continue. Amber, you know what must be done. Will you face the Lord of Craigs once more? Thank you, my friend. Alisse and I will tend to Gabu. When you have finished with the primal, look for us in Camp Overlook. We will be expecting you. Whatever you do, don't do what I do and solo this thing. It took forever. It wasn't hard, it just took forever because of the fact that he has to encase somebody in stone. And if you're the only one there, he encases you. So yeah, Q synced. Don't Q unsynced and solo it like I did. Please don't. I've already explained this on 2 separate occasions. So quick rundown. Kill him until try to kill him until he stops jumping up and down. Watch out for his frontal AoE. That is a tank buster, so if you're a tank and you have a party faced away, watch out. That will knock you clear off the edge, especially when the things start, the arena shrinks. When he jumps up, move to as far as you can without being in red until you just keep getting pushed. Eventually, he'll encase somebody in a gale. Make sure to kill it, unless, of course, his knock you off the edge thing is pointed at that, in which case you don't want to knock them out of that only to get knocked off. And he also does an AoE that you need to step out of to avoid. Other than that, pretty easy, unless you're stupid and solo it like I did. Whoops. Ah, there she is. Did I not tell you she would return safe and sound? The deed is done, then? Titan is no more? I shouldn't have soloed it. Good. There's been enough tragedy this day. He's been like that since he's regained consciousness. I believe he can hear us, but he has made no attempt to respond. He is almost certainly still in shock, but we cannot discount the possibility that he's come to the Primal's influence. Should that prove to be the case, he must be put to death like any other thrall, such as the Alliance's policy, yes? You have the right of it. But we must not rush to conclusions. After all, we once feared that Ysael's followers were beyond reason, and many have since laid down their arms and accepted Ishgard's peace. We can but watch, wait, and pray. Beneath a star-filled sky, Alphinaud would rather not worry about what may or may not come to pass. There is not to be gained from dwelling on an eventuality over which we have no control, much less one which may never even come to pass. Let us tend to more immediate matters, informing Commander Bloedin of Titan's demise, for example. You may be certain that he will be glad of the news. Would you be so kind as to break it to him? Blah, 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 Titan's dead. Ah, you're a sight for sore eyes. When the others came with that back without you, I feared the worst. But they said you had matters well in hand. Yeah, he did. All settled then, is it? I'm glad to hear it, but not half as glad as my men'll be, believe you me. Regardless of whether or not he was summoned properly, a primal's a primal, and there ain't a soul in the maelstrom that hasn't lost a friend to one. Don't get me wrong, like, we were all prepared to do our part, but we weren't so naive as to think we'd live to tell the tale. Thankfully, of course, it didn't come to that, which, my friend, sounds to me like cause for celebration. Now, I know you lot have places to be, but why not stay the night? We'd be honored to raise a glass of the triumphant return of Titan's Bane.
Who goes there?
Great, my cutscene, there's a big giant, hey, you should do a lookout here. Frickin' hell.
Oh, it's you. Forgive me for straying from the camp. He hasn't been feeling too welcome, to say the least. I thought a change of scenery might do him good.
They couldn't have removed that for the cutscene, guys?
It's so quiet out here. The stars spread out before us, beckoning across time and space. Dawn may banish even the darkest night. How bitterly beautiful, those words. I should be stronger for all my experiences, yet my heart aches more than ever. I never understood why Grandfather gave his life that day. I thought that if I came here, I would find the answers I needed. But when I finally laid eyes on the land he sacrificed everything to save, saw firsthand the bickering, the pettiness, I was disappointed. I was angry. I could not fathom how these people were more deserving of his love than his family, than me. Nevertheless, I had to believe he had good reason. I was determined to uncover the whole truth of the calamity and, perhaps in so doing, find my own purpose in this sea of chaos. My travels have been enlightening, but I cannot say that I have enjoyed them. I have lost count of the many petty crises that I was helpless to resolve and of the people whose actions I could not understand. There were others, of course. Good people. People with whom I felt a kinship, whose lives I could not save. I found myself asking what it was all for. Why try if I was doomed to fail in the end? But then I recalled Grandfather's words to my father, years ago before he left Charlayan behind forever. To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. We must all protect that which we hold most dear in the manner of our own choosing. We have to try, do we not? Of course, it's one thing to try and another to do. There were times while I was tracking the warriors of darkness when I faltered, when I was afraid. But then I thought of my brother. of Urianger. Oh, pray forgive me. This conversation has been rather one-sided, hasn't it? Mayhap you could recount some of your adventures in Ishgard.
I killed dragons. Let's say I traveled far and wide with 2 companions.
Gods! They must have been at each other's throats from dawn till dusk. I dare say you managed to keep the peace, though. Merely being in the presence of the Warrior of Light is surely enough to shame anyone into behaving. The hopes and dreams of so many rest on your shoulders, Warrior of Light. As long as the sun rises, we can but carry on, for the sake of those we hold dear.
To what end dost thou cling to the tainted gifts of the Mother?
Every tool has its purpose. Even this. Well, what is it?
The seeds sown in Vilbrand have been plucked from the earth and left to wither. Alas, Titan's demise sufficed not to drive the kobolds to deepest desperation.
What did the man in white have to say?
That we are to proceed as he did first set forth.
Well, that's easy for him to say! It's not his bloody world on the brink of destruction, is it?
Be thou well reminded that with an end to Ishgard's unrest, naught now remaineth to preoccupy the Scion's thoughts. And thus may they devote their every energy to thwarting thee and thine. I foresee only greater difficulties ahead.
Foresee? Are you sure you don't welcome them? I'm starting to think you might hold a candle for your old friends after all.
Pray do not mistake mine intent. I but look upon the path which lieth before us with due trepidation. Shouldst thou be of like mind, pray consider then another course. For the power to invoke the ardour belongeth not unto the Ascians alone. With thine own hand strike down thine enemy, the so-called hero who would see thy home lost to light. Do but this, and thou wouldst at a single stroke disrupt the all-too delicate balance of this realm, plunging her straightways into chaos.
You do realize what you're suggesting, yes?
To ignore the plight of those one might conceivably save is not wisdom, it is indolence. The words of my teacher, and a creed I hold close to my heart.
Very well. Draw her out. We'll make it quick.
It shall be done. What good a creed one cannot uphold? What hurts soothed? What lives saved? Oh, hapless fool, what hast thou wrought by thine own hands? Minfilia, my friends, I shall not now beg your forgiveness. Full deeply though it paineth me to walk it, I shall not stray from my chosen path. As Moonbreeder remains steadfast, so too shall I.
What ho, Amber? I trust you had a good night's rest? I was but this moment speaking with Thancred and Y'shtola via link pearl. They had some interesting news to share. Apparently, during the course of their respective investigations, both came across crates which had once borne guardian seals. 'Twould seem that someone in the capital has been very busy indeed. Accordingly, the Temple Knights have launched a full-scale investigation. Cermak believes that it is only a matter of time before the culprits are found, but we shall have to wait and see. In the meantime, it seems only prudent to look into the recent activities of the other tribes, in case they too are flush with guardian crystals. And with that in mind, I suggest we pay Urianger another... Wait, where's Alice? She was here a moment ago, with Kaboo. Ah, let me guess. It's time to leave, isn't it? Yep. My apologies for disappearing again. If it is any consolation, I have already packed my things. He didn't really have many things. How is he? Brother, Commander Bloden, something tells me you are not solely here out of concern for his welfare. But to answer your question, there's been no change. He will not speak or eat. I'm not even sure if he slept. If he did, he seems none the better for it. He just shuffles about with that same expression on his face. You will look after him, won't you, Commander? And treat him with every kindness? He's still in there. I know it. Beneath the anguish and the despair, he's still fighting with all his heart. He deserves to be given that chance until he comes back to us, until we know for certain what has become of him. Aye, you needn't worry. If he hadn't risked his neck to warn us and help you secure the better part of the crystals, this could have turned out a damn sight worse than it did. We'll not soon forget that, and nor will Maelstrom Command. I am so sorry, Kaboo. I truly am. You should never have been made to... And I know I cannot possibly understand. Mayhap there is nothing I can do or say. The pain, the anger, the helplessness. Hold fast to the memories of better times. Remember them as they were. And when it hurts so much your heart feels fit to burst, let it burst. Let it burst and fill up again with your love for them, and never ever forget. Come along, little one. I will remember them. And you, Alice. Thank you. Have faith, sister. Your words have reached him. In time, he will recover. And those who orchestrated these events will be made to answer for their crimes. A 1,000 times over, aye, there will be a reckoning. Pray return to the sleeping stones. We have heard the glad tidings for Ungomoro, my friends. By the grace of the 12 and your most valiant efforts, the people of Lumsalominsa may rest easy. I should like to think so, yes. Though we failed to prevent the Lord of Craigs from manifesting, we did succeed in weakening him, enabling our friend to dispatch him before the worries of darkness could make matters worse. 'Twas by no means an unmitigated success, but it will have to suffice. Then let us speak of another matter, one which weigheth heavy on my lady's mind. As thou didst request, I sought out the Garoon oracles, that we might better understand the aims of the warriors of darkness. Though their copious use of allegory defieth any single interpretation, the oracles paint a most disturbing picture, one of the worlds parallel to our own, apart yet linked, reduced to ruin with every umbral calamity. 7 times have they succeeded, then of 10 and 3, only 6 worlds remain. Aye, all is as my lady Minfilia spake unto thee. As for what becometh these reflections, when they and the sorcery joined, frail flesh undone in umbral fires, each soul surrendereth to her call, to flow into the endless sea, there to endure as one and none. Then if the warriors of darkness succeed, everyone in their world will die? In essence, aye. The verse speaketh of the renunciation of the flesh and subsequent return to the life stream. However, this fate may yet be preferable to the alternative, for if the first were to fall to transcendent light in the matter the warriors of darkness described, it would give way unto a void wherein none may know either life or death. Far better to die, they reason, for in death there is life. The essence of a soul which returneth unto the source may be born anew, saved. Such, at least, is their belief, I surmise. If that is true, then, gods, no one should ever have to make such a choice. Ere as we speak further on this subject, I would share with thee another recent discovery. 'Twould seem that several sizable shipments of crystals have been delivered into the hands of certain Alamegan parties. Alamegan? Strange, and you believe this will be the work of the same Ishgardian smugglers who supply the beast tribes? I know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Unless thou wonder at their motive, I should remind you that the Ascians did once attempt to bring about the summoning of Rhalgr. The individuals who took receipt of these shipments are refugees belonging to a group devoted to the cause of Alamegan liberation. It may also interest thee to know that their Ishgardian suppliers appear to be none other than the remnants of Aline Royale's network of spies. Surely you jest, and yet it is not so surprising. Bereft of leadership and hunted by the Alliance, I can well imagine such villains being desperate enough to conspire with the Ascians, assuming they even know or care who their new employers are. All of which is irrelevant, forgive me. We must seek out the resistance group which received the crystals without delay. Amber, Alice, will you come with me to Little Alamigo? Okay. Now Alice wants to glare at Urianger some more. Yes, of course. I should like to hear what they have to say for themselves, firsthand. May you ever walk in the light of the crystal. Alphino, Alize, Amber, are you 3 listening? Good, I have tidings. The Temple Knights raided the smuggler's warehouse less than an hour ago. Cursory interrogation of the prisoners yielded confirmation that they were in the employ of, and I hope you are sitting down, a man in black robes. Then you have them, and the crystals too? What few remained, regrettably it would seem they dispatched one final shipment in the hours before we struck. 'Twas bound for Little Alamigo, we are told, where it will be received by members of a local resistance group. Since Ceramics men no longer have need of my services, I have a mind to head that way. As do we, by happy coincidence. We learned of the shipments but a few moments ago. Ha! And there I was thinking I might finally be one step ahead of the Warrior of Light and her little helpers. Ah, wait a moment, there's more, and I defy you not to be surprised by this revelation. The leader of the Guardian smugglers was formerly in the employ of one Eileen Royale, the infamous Ivy herself. Once again, Thancred, I fear I must inform you that... Thancred, with whom else have you shared this information? About the smugglers? No one. As I think I mentioned, the raid was less than an hour ago. I was planning to contact Y'shtola next, but there is someone else who you would have me notify first? No, there isn't. What in the world has gotten into her? It is twice now that we have sought Oriange's aid, and twice she has treated him as if he were a stranger. The Archon was one of Grandfather's most dedicated pupils, and spent as much time at the Levier estate as we did. He's practically a member of the family. Truth be told, I struggled to recall a day from my childhood when I did not see the three of them laughing together. If this continues, I may have to raise the matter. Later, though, Little Alamigo waits. I will get to the bottom of this. Oh, forgive me. It has been a long day. Did you have something to say? Oriange? Oh, I've always struggled to understand what's going on in his head, now more than ever. Listen, Amber, if anything should happen, it should be me who... Just know that I am prepared to do what must be done. Right then, to more pressing matters, since we have no idea when Thancred might arrive, I suggest we see what information we can gather in his absence. When we were free. Alphino is eager to get to work. So, to review, we are reliably informed that members of the Alamigan resistance operating here have taken receipt of several large shipments of crystals, our task being to ascertain who and why. Given the size of the settlement, I find it hard to believe that anyone here could be wholly unaware of the resistance movements. The challenge, of course, will be finding individuals who are both able and willing to share such information with outsiders. It would seem sensible to divide our forces, Amber. Why don't you question the residents of the eastern half of town? Alice and I will do the same in the west. Afterwards, we can rendezvous here to share our findings. Ditch more of the work on me, thanks. Ah, let me guess. Come to join the fight, have you? No need to deny it, friend. You're not the first to answer the Griffin's call. When he's lit a fire in every Alamigan's heart, he's also inspired more than a few Uldans to pledge themselves to the cause. And little wonder, the Garleans won't stop until we're all under the yoke. I see you there, going around asking questions, looking for the Griffin and his lot, I'll bet. Seems they're the talk of Little Alamigo these days, folk wondering what he's about, what he's got in store for the Garleans, and what's under that mask of his, of course. Some say he's hardly got a face, what with all the scars. Others reckon he's been marked for death by the Empire, and that they'd send a bloody legion if they knew he were here. Your guess is as good as mine. The Resistance? Damn if I know. It's not as if I'd be any use to them. If you set store by all these tales of secret weapons, good luck to you, but I'm too old for the mask's bedtime stories. This is our lot, and it's time we got used to it. I suppose I should ask what you learned, but I think I already know. The Griffin seems to be the leader of a newly formed faction within the Resistance, the Masks. Yet despite their growing popularity, no one seems to know much about them, only that they are the most aggressively militant group to join the movement in recent memory. Indeed, many claim their commitment to the cause of Alamegan liberation is unrivaled. We can but hope their revolutionary fervor is never channeled in the direction of a primal. Though I feel confident that this is the group which received the crystal shipments, we yet lack proof. Before taking any action, I would speak with the settlement's leader to confirm my suspicions, and mayhap enlist his help while I'm about it. Given that you and Gundobald are already acquainted, mayhap it would be best if you took the lead, shall we? He's not bald, though. See, he got hair. Lots of it. Much as it pleases me to see you again, Amber, I cannot help but wonder if I should be worried. I hear you and yours have been asking questions. The Griffin? Aye, I know of him, as do we all. He and his Max have become a leading faction within the Resistance. Though there was suspicion at first given his secretive ways, he quickly proved himself a charismatic and capable commander. Men are drawn to his passion and his vision. They truly believe that he has what it takes to lead them to victory. Even I cannot help but admire the man for what he's accomplished, but I have not forgotten Wilrid. I was blind to the danger of his ambitions, and you were not. The Griffin will soon deliver a speech to our people at the sunken temple of Karn. Go and see him with your own eyes. Weigh his words with your own heart. How convenient. 'Tis but a pity Trinket is not here to join us. You two go on ahead. I shall stay behind and wait for him. Has it begun already? I hear voices coming from within.
Brothers and sisters, 20 years ago, Alamigo, our home, was claimed by the Garlean Empire. In our haste to overthrow the King of Ruin, we turned a blind eye to our foes in the north. With our glorious revolution, we but laid a path for a new tyrant to succeed the old. And when confronted with our failure, we fled. Not a day goes by that I do not think of those we left behind. Think of them and feel ashamed. And I know each and every one of you feels the same. We abandoned them, our own flesh and blood, to labor till their backs gave in and their breath gave out. Building the twisted steel ramparts which now mar our once majestic mountains. We abandoned them The brave and true to fight and die for their country, or worse, to be conscripted and sent off to rob another poor bastard of his home. We abandon them, the meek and powerless, to bow and scrape when the Garleans pass, to sully themselves that they might live to see another day of misery. The Black Wolf may be dead, but a new Imperial Viceroy reigns in Alamigo now. A beast not a fraction as merciful. You all know the Eorzean Alliance will do naught to oppose him. For all their promises and platitudes, they will not act if there's no profit in it. Only we can free our brothers and sisters from the Empire's tyranny, my friends. Only we have the courage to stand and fight. They have imprisoned us. They have enslaved us. And they have murdered us. But no more! Blood demands blood, and the Garleans shall pay for every drop they have spilt upon our lands. This I promise you, for we have a power within us, my friends. A power befitting our pride, our righteousness. Only join us, and we shall grant you the means to unleash it, and together we shall see the Alamigan standard raised over the mountains of Gir Arbania once more!
A power befitting their pride. Not at all ominous, that. Wait, is that...
What are you two doing here?
I could ask you the same thing.
Well, well, this is quite the surprise.
If you see what I see, if you feel as I feel...
Might I suggest we continue this conversation in more agreeable surroundings?
For it is not strength of arms that will win this battle, but strength of heart.
Words cannot express how glad I am to see you both alive and well. And you, though it was pretty obvious you and Amber would be fine. The Crystal Braves never had a realistic chance of capturing any of the Scions, divided as we were and distrusted by the better part of Eorzea. But if you truly believe that, forgive me, what exactly have you two been doing all this time? Repaying a favor. After the banquet, we had no choice but to flee Ul'dah, and we would never have been able to do so without the aid of some old friends from the Resistance. That's right, they smuggled us out of the city and sheltered us in Little Alamigo, all at great risk to themselves. Obviously, we couldn't let that go unacknowledged, so we offered to help them out with their operations for a while. When we learned of the Scion's exoneration, that Lolorito had severed all ties with the Crystal Braves and that General Roban had been reinstated, we resolved to make contact. But having long since discarded our link pearls as a precautionary measure, our options were rather limited. To make matters more complicated, we were embroiled in a delicate operation at the time, leaving me with little choice but to entrust a letter to a courier. I gather from your puzzled expression, however, that you never received it. To be honest, we thought this might happen. While the masks are happy to let the refugees spread the word within the community, they're pretty strict about communicating with outsiders. Oh, and we also heard a rumor that the Griffin doesn't want us meddling in his affairs. The Griffin mistrusts the science of the Seventh Dawn? Curious. It is well known that we are no friends to Gothermold. One would think the man we saw beseeching all and sundry to join his cause would welcome our support. Ah, I should say that the man you saw was not in fact the Griffin, but an impersonator, a talented rabble-rouser to boot. 'Twould not surprise me if he were responsible for the majority of these public appearances. As you have may gather, the Griffin is an extremely cautious and distrusting man who has made every effort to conceal his identity. Even when we participated in a raid under his direct command, we were not permitted to approach him. It's hard to know what to make of it all. The secrecy, the impersonators, the masks. Yida, that's funny coming from you. What? It's not as if I'm making all of you wear one, and mine only covers half my face. It's completely different. Anyway, when we heard the Griffin was due to give a speech, we thought it might be a good opportunity to get a better sense of the man behind the... Oh, to get a better sense of the man. For all the good it did. And now you have heard the whole of it, but tell me, what prompted you to take an interest in the Griffin? Crystals. Summoning? You're not serious. I can't believe it. The Resistance would never even entertain such a ridiculous plan, but the Griffin, well, the man is an enigma. I cannot say with any confidence what he would or would not do. What I can say, however, is that the speech we heard today was not the first to make reference to a power capable of defeating the Empire. The mass have made many such claims of late. I confess I'd assumed it to be mere bluster, but in the context of the shipments of which you spoke, it is not impossible that they are alluding to a primal. Whatever it is, we'll find out together, and if anyone tries to stop us, they'll answer to me. Indeed, that is, assuming you'll have us? Honorable heroes, Papalino has a mind to learn the Griffin's true intentions. If, as you suspect, the Griffin is indeed plotting to summon a primal, we must needs obtain confirmation while there is yet time to act. To that end, I propose we question his double. Given his role as the group's de facto mouthpiece, I should not be surprised if he were one of the Griffin's closest associates. And while he may not be aware of the most sensitive details, he can probably tell us the mask's plans in broad strokes. Like the man whom he impersonates, however, he is wary of outsiders. He will not expose himself without suitable incentive. My plan is as follows. You and Alphino oppose his adventurers fallen on hard times, inspired by his words to take up arms for a noble cause. Yin and I, as members of Resistance, will recount tales of your past achievements and testify as to your usefulness in the struggles ahead. With our enthusiastic assurances still ringing in his ears, he will decide to welcome you in person, and we will arrange a meeting. You will need to look the part that we might maintain the charade until we have him cornered, at least here. This should be enough to purchase suitable garments from Tailbot and to have him rub a respectable amount of dirt on them for good measure. Any questions? It all seems simple enough, thank you. And with that, Amber, let us be off. You want to buy what? I don't know where you're up to, but I want no part of it. Really? That's not what this sack of gill says. Well, you're the ones with the gill, and seeing as you're friends with Papalimo, there, tunic and slops for the both of you, tailored and, treated to your taste. Now off with you before someone sees us together. Clothes maketh the man, as they say. Right then, I will go and change and see what the spot Papalimo marked on our maps. I am now the worst dressed red mage you have ever seen. Well, look at us, a pair of down-at-heel adventurers seeking a chance to recapture past glories. Yes, this should suffice. And now we play the waiting game.
My thanks, comrades. You must be the esteemed adventurers of whom I've heard so much. I understand you have taken an interest in our cause.
A great interest, you might say. Your words have certainly made quite an impression on my friend and I. The Resistance has long, and some would say wisely, avoided open engagements with the Garleans, but you and yours seem confident against the world in arms. I can only assume you have good reason to be so bold. Why, one might even think you are planning to summon a primal. Because that would do much to explain the sizable shipment of crystals you recently received from your smuggler friends, whom our Ishgardian allies have since detained, lest you wonder.
I'd like to hear more about the Griffin. The real Griffin. Your performance earlier didn't fool us.
Ah, the famous scions of the Seventh Dawn. I should have known better than to think I could conceal the truth from you lot. You are right. I am not the Griffin, but I speak with his voice, and it was at his behest that we procured those crystals. You are wrong, however, if you think that we procured them to summon a primal. We used them to reach an accord with the Amalja. In exchange for crystals to summon their god, they will aid us in the fight for Alamegan liberation.
You've got to be joking! Have you gone completely mad? When people find out you helped the Lizardmen summon Ifrit, they'll turn on the Resistance. Alamigo will never be free!
This isn't a fairy tale, girl. We don't have the luxury to play at being honourable heroes. It's because the likes of you wouldn't sully your saintly hands that Alamigo's been under the yoke for the past 20 years. But the Griffin won't stand for it, and neither will we. We're ready to do whatever it takes.
What proof do you have of this arrangement with the Amalja?
What? Aside from a lack of crystals? None. But the beastmen have a great big pile of the things if you fancy looking. You might want to hurry, though. It'll not be long before they summon their god. Search our camp if you don't believe me. We have naught to hide.
If there is a cache to be found, Ida and I will find it.
Then let us be off. Are you perchance the Warrior of Light? Aye, I thought so. You should know that a great many who have joined us did so because you saved them. Because you showed them that one brave woman can make a difference. You saved me too once. Helped a friend over in Quarry Mill make some medicine I needed. But that was a lifetime ago. On behalf of my brothers and sisters, I thank you. You gave us hope where there was none, courage and strength when all was lost. We shall not squander your gift.
I know that look, Ida, and I do not like it. You cannot seriously be contemplating taking up arms with that band of cutthroats.
I just...
If the Griffin and his men have their way, it is only a matter of time before the situation in Alamigo comes to a head. Your homeland's future teeters on a knife edge, and any reckless action, however small, could have irrevocable consequences. You mustn't lose sight of that, Ida. When the time comes, we must all make our choices, but we must do so in full possession of the facts. Now, let us away. There is work to be done.
Quarrymill, he said. Do you remember? Forgive me, you cannot be expected to recall every name and face, and besides, it's not as if it matters. I have long admired how you live in the present, how you focus on the problems at hand and always keep moving forward. So let us keep moving forward together, Amber. We must find and secure those crystals. This is no time for looking back. Money. Interesting how he just has 3 different meals with him and a sack of money. One life for one world. Alphino would keep moving forward. If we take the Griffin's double at his word, then the crystals are now somewhere within Zaharak, ready to be put to use by the Amalja. We must apprise Alice of all we have learned. I will join you both in Little Alamigo after I have changed. Good idea. Let me change too. Whoops, done. Now that Thancred has finally arrived, mayhap you could share your latest findings? You mean to tell me that while we were worrying ourselves sick, Yida and Papalima were here all along? Well, Y'shtola will be relieved. And also angry. Mainly angry, I should think. As for the crystals, what choice do we have? We cannot very well leave them in the hands of the Amalja. For all we know, they could be preparing to summon Ifrit even as we speak. We must make for Zaharak without delay. Agreed. If there is naught else to discuss, let us depart at once. Okay. And so they go forth in accordance with the Griffin's plan. The players gather to assume their marks on a stage wreathed in flame. Ere long the curtain shall rise, and the drama of which I am author, gods forgive me, shall at last be performed. Naught else remaineth, save to stand at the ready and pray that the chance is seized, for never shall we know its like again. We must be ready to engage the enemy at any moment. If you would make any final preparations, pray do so now. I shall await your signal. Make time for cutscenes. Got it.
This isn't right. The Emulger would never leave this place so poorly guarded.
Not willingly, no.
Ah, the saviors of Eorzea. Slow as ever.
By the 12. Will you never learn?
You know, you're right. Mayhap it is time for a change of tack. Killing primals, tormenting beastmen, hastening the birth of a new god. It's all a bit much, isn't it? And frankly, we don't have the leisure to do it. But killing the Warrior of Light, on the other hand, that would soon plunge Eorzea into chaos. One life for one world. A fair exchange! Wouldn't you agree?
Lest you forget, you've more than one opponent.
Carbuncle! Defend me!
I sense you will offer more than mere target practice, unlike your sister.
Alize!
Did I not tell you, Alphino? I am not the girl I once was. My brother was always the clever one, while my talents lay elsewhere.
Class changed mid-battle.
If you would dare to stand against us, to destroy all that we hold dear, then you shall die by my sword!
Let's finish this.
And my axe. Now we need someone with a bow. We've come too far, sacrificed too much to stop now. You think you're the only ones to have known sorrow?
You shall fall soon enough.
There's no escape.
Kill the healer first, then the tether, and then we'll worry about the Warrior of Darkness.
It ends now. What?
The chains!
You snake! You would betray us as well?
He that holdeth fast unto his convictions shall never count betrayal amongst his crimes, though all the world may call him villain. My path is unchanged, my creed sacrosanct. This I believe with all my heart. But say, warrior of darkness, and speak true, what dost thou believe? That rendering up the souls of thy world in service to the rejoining will grant it salvation? Nay.
By the 12! Oriange!
So extra at a face reveal.
Mine apologies, Master Alphino. That the brightest light might shine, duty did compel me to walk in darkest shade.
You sweet fool. I was almost willing to believe you had turned against us. I expect a full explanation when this is over. For now, may I assume you have turned your cloak for the last time?
Thou mayest, my lady.
And so extra at the book, too.
By thy leave.
All that to open a book. My god, if I did that every time I open a book, I'd never get any reading done.
Even odds, then. No matter. We'll crush the lot of you in one fell swoop!
Understood.
Hearken to me. We only have one chance. Channel your ether into my blade that I might strike before the mage casts his spell. I cannot do it alone, but together we can defeat them. Make ready! They come!
So I need to kill things that are attacking me, channel into her blade, rinse and repeat. So for this, kill the things that are trying to kill you. It's mainly going to be the Warrior of Darkness, but sometimes he'll be tethered, so you'll have to kill the Paladin. And watch out for the queues, because sometimes things will they'll start attacking Alizé directly, and you need to kill them before they get to you.
there? I'll crush you!
With this blade, I banish the darkness.
No. Not like this.
Alize, are you hurt?
A touch dizzy, but otherwise fine. Thank you.
And there you have it. Our friend is too stubborn to die.
We are far from finished. Or have you never considered how we came to this world?
Crystals? You mean, like the Ascians?
Just so. As the Ascians flee unto the rift twixt planes with crystals of darkness, so did these warriors come hither with crystals of light.
Eloquent, as always. Aye, like the Ascians, we too are beyond death. You cannot defeat that which is eternal.
Wait! Such methods as the Ascians employ require the renunciation of the flesh. You would have had to...
At long last, you see. To save our world, we gave our lives. We were just adventurers trying to make our way. An odd job here, a favor there. We never aspired to be warriors of light. But word of our deeds spread, and soon people were calling us heroes. They placed their hopes and dreams on our shoulders, and bid us fight for all that was good and right. We fought, and we fought, and we fought, until there was no one left to fight. We won! And now our world is being erased from existence. We did everything right. Everything that was asked of us, and still Still, it came to this! You of all people should understand. We will not falter! We brought our world to the brink of destruction, and now we must save it.
I've died before, Arbet. I'm not afraid to die again.
No matter how many times we fall, we must rise and carry on the fight for those we left behind.
To have known the depth of sorrow and embraced the highest sacrifice. Nonetheless, Master Louis-Soix, guide my hand, I pray you, as fate's thread spinneth upon this most capricious spindle. Quickly! Thou must needs invoke the power of thy crystal!
What is this place?
Such pain. Such sorrow. Oh, my dear children.
It can't be.
Mother Heidelin, hearken unto your children's plea. From two worlds do we gather, and from two worlds do we offer a bounty of light. In this desperate hour we do beseech your intercession. We beg an audience with the word of the Mother, with your chosen Minfilia.
Your cries go not unheard, nor your sacrifices unnoticed. Though many are lost, there are those we can yet save, whom I can yet save.
Minfilia!
Blessed children of the First, the light of your world hath grown blinding in its radiance, but it is not yet absolute. I will hie me to your world, and there take unto myself the light which riseth even now to drown it, as darkness once did drown another.
Now you deign to answer our prayers? I will suffer this farce no longer!
As the Ascians must serve as instruments of Zodiark's will, so too must others carry out the will of Hydaelyn. But for the boon you have granted her, she has grown strong enough to set me free, that I might serve as her emissary. Your suffering, your sacrifice, your supplications, she has heard all. We will not let the first fall to light. Thank you, Urianger, for bringing everyone here. It fills my heart with joy to look upon the faces of my friends once more.
In taking you unto her bosom, I knew that Hydaelyn had bequeathed to you a sliver of her grace, granting you strength long sought. And in treating with the Ascians, I learnt of a star like unto our own, a doomed world of fallen heroes, in whom I glimpsed ourselves, the first. Full long did I search for a means to save this world, concluding at the last that the answer lay in the power of blessed crystals. And thus did I labor to set light against dark. Yet I knew from the beginning that this salvation would not come without sacrifice. For the instrument of the first's deliverance would of necessity be required to journey thither, there to remain, mayhap forever.
You orchestrated all of this, not to save her, but to send her away!
One life for one world. Such was the bargain, and you the coin, though it were not mine to spend.
Have we not walked together in the light of the crystal, and at her bidding borne witness to the joys and sorrows of this land? Each and every one of you knows my heart. If this be the price I must pay, I pay it gladly.
You would go alone, then?
My dearest Thancred, you who have ever watched over me, I am truly grateful for all you have done on my behalf, as would my father be. Your kindness, your compassion, your love. These are your gifts to me, and our gifts to them, forming a bond which transcends time and space.
Sometimes I forget you are not the child I once knew. Make me proud.
Long have I watched you from Hydaelyn's side, watched as you nurtured and kept safe the light of the dawn. The dark recesses of the world hide untold secrets and dangers. Thus do I entrust to you, Tupsimati. I pray you, keep to the path that you may never have need of it.
Twould seem the power of our crystals is all but spent. Perhaps, if there is naught else to be done.
Hear me, servant of Hydaelyn. If you would have us place our trust in you, then I would ask a favor. Take us with you. Take us home. We were blind to the truth once, so I tell you this, as one fool to another. Light, dark, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you choose to use them. We made our choice and you see what came of it, so please, forge a different path. Seize a better fate.
It is a strange feeling. So many times have I watched you depart, my heart filled with worry. And ever did you return to me in triumph. Someday, when I have found a way to free this star from her sorrow, I promise you I shall repay the favor. Thank you, Lemmy, for everything.
It would seem we're in Southern Thunderland again. Minfili's doing, no doubt. May the 12 speed her on her way, and the Warriors of Darkness too. I cannot help but wonder what awaits those wayward souls. If they gave their lives in order to travel to the source, then in returning to the first, would they not? But mayhap that was their wish? An ending to mark a new beginning. Alphino seems to be at a loss for words. Forgive me, my thoughts were elsewhere. And this when I know full well there's yet work to be done. The crystals. Leave them to me. I will go back into Zarak and secure them. The Amaja will still be in disarray after the thrashing the Warriors of Darkness gave them. They are not like to notice the lone bard skulking about. But Thancred, you... don't have to do this, I know, but I want to. I will see you at the Rising Stones. I should go and find Yida and Paplimo. They must have finished searching the masked camp by now, not that it matters anymore. You must be tired, Amber. I know I am. If thou wilt permit me, my lady, I would ask a question. When didst thou become aware of mine independent pursuits? When I saw you meeting with the Warrior of Darkness and the Asian and the White at the Great Library. I tried not to think the worst. You've never been one to confide in others, so I knew that even were your intentions pure, you would not share your plans with us until you felt the time was right. But I cannot deny that a part of me feared you had simply betrayed us. Would that there had been another way. Know that I took no pleasure in deceiving thee, and that these sins will forever weigh heavy on my heart. I understand why you did what you did. that you but sought to achieve the greatest good while inflicting the least harm. Not many would have the courage to make that choice. But even knowing what came of your actions, I find I cannot condone them. I'm sorry. Amber, forgive me, but I believe the events of the day have taken their toll on me. I should like to rest for a while. If thou wilt grant me leave, I would gladly escort thee unto a refuge of thine own choosing. Once my lady hath regained her strength, we shall join thee at the rising stones. Until then, warrior of light. Well met, Amber. Alphino said you would be joining us. Twitzy and the Griffin's double was telling the truth, insofar as we found nothing resembling a sizable cache of crystals in the mass camp. Did you perchance find one at Zarak? Actually... I don't believe it. The crystals, Minfilia, all of it. It's just... I don't know what it is. I sympathize, Ida. Even now I struggle to comprehend that which I saw. The only thing I can say with any certainty is that I feel blessed to have been granted a final chance to speak with her. 'Twas bittersweet, aye, but also affirming. Alphino, I believe it is past time Ida and I rejoin the Scions. We have been away for far too long. Though I am loath to leave the Griffith to his own devices, I feel our investigation would benefit from your more dispassionate perspectives, and I hope that we might, in turn, offer our own opinions on the many challenges that you have faced in our absence. Gods, it's been absolutely ages, hasn't it? I can't wait to hear about everyone's adventures. We should be glad to recount them, and Tataru's tales may well surprise you. Yida. Yida! Ragor be praised, it is you! Yida, alive and standing here before me, in the flesh. I can hardly believe my eyes. Oh, come now, has it really been so long you don't remember me? It's Gundobald. I fought beside your father in the Revolution. Do not think less of her, friends. It has been 20 years since the occupation sent us our separate ways. But the resistance were always welcome in Little Alamigo. They give us hope, and young Yida most of all. Aye, Yida here was always full of fire, ever the first to volunteer for a mission. Until the day she up and vanished, that is. There were rumors, and we fear the worst, but here you are, alive and well, looking nary a day older. Well, what can I say? I'm sorry for running off like that and making you all worry. It's a long story, but you see, I got involved with my friends here, the Scions. Oh, sorry, we were still the Circle of Knowing back then, right? Anyway, I wanted to come back to tell you, but it was all very secretive stuff at the time, and as you can see, I'm completely fine. I know we've got a lot to talk about, and we will, but right now I've got to hurry back to our headquarters. My friends are expecting me. Pray forgive her. It has been a long day for us all. I promise we will visit again at the first opportunity. Let us return to the Rising Stones. Hells take me for giving you that mask. And that's where we're going to leave this for now as we return to the Sinking Rocks. So thanks for joining me for this installment of my Final Fantasy XIV story playthrough. I hope it was enjoyable, aside from my poor job at voice acting. As always, feel free to give feedback in the comments below or just to say hi. I may not respond, but I do read all of my comments. Feel free to follow the links to my socials below and drop by Twitch to say hello there too. Tap that sub button if you want to see what I'm up to on YouTube. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope you all take care. See you guys for the next video. Until then, stay safe and ciao.